John Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America, issue number 1 from DC Comics. It's part of the DC Black label, which I'm assuming is basically a DC label where they have the more mature stuff. And yeah, this is set in the Sandman universe. So I will be honest with you and say that I did not read any of the previous Hellblazer stuff. I mean, I used to be a huge fan of Hellblazer. Probably one of the only stuff from Alan Moore that I actually like. Yeah, I hate a lot of Alan Moore stuff. I find him to be highly overrated. And I know there's like a huge thing right now on social media about Rorschach, whether he's a hero or not. If anyone's curious, I think he's a hero. I think Alan Moore just completely screwed up what he was trying to do. He was trying to take the piss out of Steve Ditko's Mr. A and create like a straw man version of that character. And it's supposed to be like a character that everyone hated, but everyone ended up loving that character instead. And I think that just pissed Alan Moore off. But yeah, that's not here nor there. I loved Alan Moore's Hellblazer stuff. I love non-Alan Moore's Hellblazer stuff in the past. I haven't read any of the modern day stuff because the last time I tried to read some modern day Hellblazer, it was just terrible. So I kind of gave up on it. But I figured, there's really nothing else coming out this week that I'm all that interested in reading, so I'll give this a try. So the basic story right now, I guess Constantine is dead. Like his heart's not beating. He's a zombie somehow. He's teaming up with this girl named Nate, who is Scottish, and he has a black son named Noah. Yeah, how he has a black son, I have no idea. But yeah, he has a black son named Noah, and it's like his biological son. So yeah, it just reminds me of the freaking Family Guy My Black Son segment. So John Constantine is a zombie and he has a black son. All right. And apparently his son killed someone based off of Constantine's orders. Like Constantine told him to kill someone who was innocent, and now they're on the run. And so they're hiding out in Florida, whereas the murder took place in England. That's all I kind of have been piecing together from what I've been reading. This series, or at least this issue, does not really do a good job of catching you up. There is like a brief little thing in the beginning where like they kind of tell you a little bit about what's going on, but not really. Like it's not really all that detailed. It could have been done a lot better. Because I do kind of feel like Stan Lee's right in that every comic you should treat it like someone's first. And I know sometimes like a lot of comics don't do that nowadays, or if they do, it seems very like exposition. It's like, oh, they're telling us everything that we already know from reading the previous issue. I get that, but this is an issue number 1. I would be completely fine if I came in here lost, but this was like issue number 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. But this is issue number 1 of a new series. And I know it's following a previous volume, but it's a number 1. I should not be completely lost on a number 1 issue. Like even if you're following like a previous volume, you should at least catch everybody up. Like people should be able to jump into a number 1 and not be lost. But yeah. So we start off with Constantine as a complete zombie coming out of a grave, I guess. He's digging himself out of the dirt. And I guess he sees some people shooting a porno. And then he falls down the Hollywood Hill. And yes, I guess this is where the black label part comes in, because we see breasts, kind of. I mean, it's just basically 2 dots because she's in the background. But I guess that's enough to label this a black label issue. But yeah, the basic gist of the story is that I guess Constantine's trying to find out some more information. I guess he's trying to figure out if this black kid is really his son. Which, again, like, I would be completely confused. Especially since, like, Constantine's, like, white as snow. But he, like, summons some demon into a statue. And he's gonna, like, make a deal with this demon. When all of a sudden this Girl Scout shows up and reveals that she has powers. And she's like, I know exactly what you're trying to do, Constantine. Here's what's gonna go down, Mr. Statue. Constantine is gonna, like, say that he wants some kind of deal, but he's really going to use this as a pretext to ask you a bunch of questions that he doesn't know the answers to and he wants to know the answer to. And I'm just going to tell you straight up what the answer are. He wants to know if the cops in London are searching for Noah on suspicion of murder. Yes. He wants to know if Noah's immortal soul is damned because of what John did. Yes. He wants to know if Noah's truly his own son. Yes. He wants to know if he's responsible for everything that's going bad right now. Yes. This is the whole pretext for this this deal. Constantine just wanted to get answers out of you. And then he had like this signal under your seat that he was gonna like trap you in while he leaves. And then the girl like does some kind of magic powers, and the demon is gone. And yeah, she just basically explains that she's a hostess and that Constantine is visiting quote unquote our lands. And yeah, she just says, "Welcome to America, dead man." She leaves. And then that's when we get Constantine coming out, and him and his two sidekicks are riding around in a double-decker bus. How they got that bus here, I don't know. It's a London bus. Somehow it's here in America. I'm assuming that happened in the previous volume. Oh, did I mention that Noah is mute? So he sign languages. So yeah, and I will just say that Noah just comes across as a very naive kind of character, kind of just takes orders. Nat is a very annoying character in multiple ways. First, her personality. She's just one of those where she's constantly starting arguments and trying to pick fights. And she just comes across as a girl boss tough character, and it's just very, very annoying. And also just the way she talks. I get it, she's Scottish, but it almost feels like the writer went overboard on the accent. So now it feels like I'm reading like Brad Pitt's character from Snatch. Like I'm just like, what the hell are you trying to say? But yeah, they're riding on this double-decker bus in Florida, and they're like riding on the back roads and stuff. And Constantine's gonna go take a nap, and as he does so, he tells Nate like, just keep driving, don't stop for anybody, don't pick up any hitchhikers, just keep on going. But eventually, Nate decides to ignore Constantine's orders, and they pick up a hitchhiker. And the hitchhiker turns out to be Dream from the Sandman. Yeah, we just basically have the two of them talking, where Dream is saying that Constantine apparently took Dream's bag of sand. Constantine's trying to explain that he bought it from like a garage sale, and he had no idea it belonged to Dream. He just knew that it was very powerful, and this person was selling it for cheap, so he bought it. And then he tried to like use it for some kind of ritual, or whatever, but he only used a few grains. And then Constantine's ex-girlfriend like stole the pouch, and I guess she's using it for some kind of magic or something. I don't know. Basically, John Constantine had his hands on Dream's bag of sand, and Dream wants the bag back. And he tells Constantine, "Hey, you go get this bag back for me, and I'll fix some of your problems." And so that's the end of that. And that's when we get the most stupidest part in this. Constantine wakes up, and he wakes up to see that the bus has been pulled over to the side, and a white police officer is about ready to shoot his son. And he just basically keeps telling the cops, like telling Noah, like, put your hands up where I can see them. Nat is trying to tell him, like, hey, he's mute. He's just trying to sign to you. But this cop is like just really gung ho and blasting this kid. And this whole thing is dumb because like I'm tired of this. I'm not gonna go around saying it's woke or any of that shit. I'm just gonna say it's tiresome and pointless. I've seen this so many times. I mean, even if I just saw it once already, once enough, but I see this every time I read something from the big two. You always got your white character who has to be evil and they're racist for the sake of being racist. And yeah, so basically this cop wants to kill this black kid because he's racist. Like that's literally, there's no other reason. We literally have a moment where Constantine is like sneaking out behind the bus, and he slaps this piece of paper on the back of the white cop's head. And basically it's like Jedi mind trick in a sense. Like he says everything is fine. There's nothing to report. I'm just going to ask you some questions and you tell me the truth. And he asks him like, is there a warrant out for 3 British nationals in connection to a homicide in London? And the cop's like, what? No. And he's like, is Interpol involved? And the white cop he's stupid because he's a southerner, so he has no idea what Interpol is. And then that's like, then why the hell did you stop the vehicle? And the cop literally just says, because a black boy was driving a bus. I ain't seen that before, so I had to pull him over. She even asks like, so you pointed your gun at him? He's like, yeah. And I'm just thinking, are you serious? I thought Marvel was supposed to be like the world outside my window. None of this is happening in the real world. I mean, if anything, it's the opposite. The cops aren't doing anything. I don't want to get all like political or anything, but just look at all the news. You see nothing but a bunch of like break-ins in stores and stuff. and cops aren't doing anything about it because it's more trouble than not. The few people that do like try to stop, these people breaking into the stores and rioting and stealing and stuff, either they get killed, or if they do stop the criminal, they're the ones who end up getting charged. So you have a bunch of places like leaving cities and stuff, and businesses closing down because it's too much of a hassle to keep their stores open if the cops aren't going to do their job. It almost feels like we have more racism in our fictional media than we do in real life. Almost like there's a demand and there's not enough supply for it. The supply is not reaching the demand. Everyone's saying racism on this, racism that, but we don't really have any. Like there's some, but it's barely kept alive. If anything else, there's more hoaxes, there's more like bullshit. Yeah, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. We have to have a white cop about to shoot this black kid because he's a black kid and nothing else. Like I'll be like, all right, fine, whatever. It's stupid, but if it actually like went somewhere, but it doesn't, this never gets brought up again in the rest of this issue. This is just like a moment that happened, I guess, just to show that America bad, white people racist, black people victims. There's no other point for this scene. Like it would have been one thing if the cop pulled him over and then Constantine or Nat or whatever, like they subdue the cop and then they make their escape. And the cop radios it in like, hey, these people attacked me. They're driving a red double-decker bus. And so now you have like tension because now our main characters are driving this giant bus that the cops are going to be searching for. Like that could have been something, but no. Because John Constantine uses magic, the cop like just completely blanks on this whole situation. It's almost as if this never happened. So why did it happen? Why did you write this scene if it doesn't go anywhere? And also, couldn't you just make things different? Did it have to be a white cop pulling over the bus because a black kid's driving it? Couldn't it just been like a cop pulling over the bus because, hey, there's a freaking London double-decker bus with London license plates driving around in Florida. Like there's something very suspicious here, so I'm going to pull this bus over. And then you could have had Nat escalate things because she's constantly escalating everything. She's constantly picking fights with her own teammates. So I can totally see her picking a fight with the cop. So you could have just had something like that. You didn't have to drag in race into this. You could have had the same exact sequence of events and just get rid of the whole racial thing. It could have just been any color cop. Could be white, could be black, could be Asian, be Hispanic. A cop pulls over the bus because, hey, there's this giant double-decker London bus with London license plates here in America, driving around in Florida, in the backwoods, in the middle of the night. Something's very suspicious here. But no, instead it's just, oh, I saw a black guy driving a bus, and that's something I've never seen before in Florida. Really? You've never seen a black guy driving a car in Florida? Like, what the hell? So yeah, we had that whole segment. And then, yeah, Constantine he's trying to find Swamp Thing. So this whole entire issue is just him trying to find Swamp Thing because he thinks maybe Swamp Thing can help him. So we have him trying to meet with, the personification of the green by going to a golf course. And I was like, okay, he's meeting Swamp Thing on the green, like on the literal green of a golf course. That's kind of funny, but that's kind of it. So that was the entire issue. It's boring. And I don't know if I'm going to continue with it because there was nothing here that intrigued me, which is really a shame because Constantine is one of my favorite comic book characters ever. Like I will shit on Alan Moore every single day because I hate his stuff. I find him just to be pretentious and just people claim he's like one of the greatest writers ever, and I just don't see it. I hated Watchmen. I hated Mouse. Like V for Vendetta is absolute dog shit. And that's not even talking about all of his other stuff, like the whole Lovecraft reptilian rape issue, and then all the Fable characters that are all like sexualized and stuff. It's funny how people go after like other comic book writers for stuff. No one's going after Alan Moore for some of the stuff he wrote. I mean, look at his Fable stuff. Anyways, I love Hellblazer. I think it was great, and I even think Swamp Thing that he wrote was pretty decent. I will say that I don't remember much of it. I mostly just read the stuff where John Constantine was involved in it, because that's where he made his first appearance, was in the Swamp Thing issue. But yeah, I like John Constantine. I like him as a character. This was just boring. Not only was I just kind of lost, why is he a zombie? Why does he have a black kid? Why did they kill someone in London, but now they're driving a London bus in America? Maybe all that stuff was in the previous volume. There was nothing here to be all that interesting. I find all the characters annoying. I guess Noah is okay and John Constantine is fine, if not just even more like broody and nihilistic and cynical, but that's kind of his character. So like I'm fine with that. Noah is okay. I don't know. I didn't get much of him from this. Like it's kind of hard to say what his character is other than he's black and he's mute and he's John Constantine's son. Like that's all I really get from him. Nat is just annoying. Absolutely dreadful of a character. I can't stand her. And yeah, there's just a lot of talking, not really much here. It's really boring. Which is kind of a shame. Because like I said, I love Constantine. I love the Hellblazer series. I haven't really cared much for the modern day stuff, but I do love the OG stuff. And this just, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to continue with this series. This was bad. This was terrible. I didn't like it. It was boring. But there you go. There's John Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America. Issue number 1 from DC Comics. I don't know. What did you guys think? You guys liked it? Didn't like it? What did you think about the whole like cop scene? Again, I just think it's dumb. It's just one of those where I see it all the time, especially in the big two. Like I see this kind of stuff and I'm just done with it. Like every time I see it, I just kind of roll my eyes. I'm like, all right, here we go again. And in this case, it is literally pointless because it doesn't lead to anything. Maybe if it led to something, then I could have like forgiven it, but it doesn't. It's just a scene just to throw in there, just to, I don't know, show America bad or something. It was just, it's dumb. But yeah, there you go. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. So what'd you guys think of that video? I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell for a notification, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlist that you guys see, and I hope to see you guys next time. Later.